All right, Madam Mayor, you're up.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Kuzak. Okay, so I'd like to call the Langley City October 5th, 2020 public hearing to order and begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the traditional unceded territory of the K.C. Kwantlen, Musqueam, and Semiahmoo First Nations. I'm Mayor Val Vanderbroek, and tonight with me are my council colleagues, Councillor Rudy Storboom, Councillor Rosemary Wallace, Councillor Gail Martin, Councillor Terry James, Councillor Nathan Bahal, and Councillor Paul Albrecht. And staff with us tonight, we have Carl Johansson, our Director of Development Services, Rick Baumhoff, our Director of Engineering, Parks and Environment, Kim Hilton, our Director of Recreation, Culture and Community Services. We also have Darren Light, our Director of Corporate Services, Kelly Kenny, our Corporate Officer, and Mr. Francis Chung, our Chief Administrative Officer. So I'll call to order this public hearing and is being convened pursuant to Section 464 of the Local Government Act in order to consider bylaw number 3131, discharge of land use contract number 23-73. The purpose is to authorize the discharge of the land use contract number 2373 from the property located at 20093 44th Avenue. So I'd like to take this time to thank everyone for attending this public hearing, which is taking place by electronic means via Zoom. If we encounter technical challenges during this meeting, please stand by, as we want to ensure everyone who wishes to speak is afforded the opportunity to do so. This public hearing is being live streamed on the city's YouTube channel and is also being recorded and will be posted to the city's website. If you are watching and you wish to attend this electronic meeting, you can go to www.langleycity.ca to register and join the meeting. At this public hearing, those in attendance at this electronic meeting who believe that their interest in property is affected by the proposed bylaw will be allowed to make representations to council and shall be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard respecting matters contained in the bylaw. Once in the meeting, you may use the raised hand function to indicate your wish to speak, which will automatically put you in the speaker queue. You will be invited to speak in the order in which the hands are raised. When it is your turn to speak, staff will prompt you a message asking you to unmute your microphone and you may begin speaking. Please commence your comments to council by clearly stating your name and street address. Unit numbers are not required. Then you may give us the benefit of your views concerning the bylaw. Your name, address, and comments will form part of the record of this public hearing. Members of council may, if they wish, ask questions of you following your presentation. However, the main function of council members this evening is to listen to the views of the public. It is not the function of council at this public hearing to debate the merits of the proposed bylaw with individual citizens. Once you have completed your comments, staff will mute your microphone. Everyone shall be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard at this meeting. No one will be or should feel discouraged or prevented from making their views heard. I'm asking that you keep your comments to no more than 5 minutes to allow everyone who wishes to speak the opportunity to do so. Once everyone who wishes to speak has done so, I will call for speakers for a second time, at which time those who wish to speak again should indicate so by using the raised hand function. I will then call for speakers for a third and final time. If there are no speakers, I will ask for a motion to close the public hearing. The public was also given the opportunity to provide written submissions for this public hearing. All submissions will be retained by the corporate officer and copies of the submissions will be available from her on request following the hearing and shall form part of the public record of these proceedings. Ms. Kenny, can you please advise how many notifications was provided for this public hearing and whether we have received any correspondence?
Yes, Madam Mayor. A notice pertaining to the bylaw was mailed to properties within 100 meters of the subject property. Newspaper advertisements were placed in the September 24th and October 1st editions of the Langley Advance Times, and a notice was placed outside the entrance to City Hall and on the city's website. And we've received one piece of correspondence in relation to the bylaw, which was forwarded to Council via email.
Great, thank you very much. So, business, bylaw 3131 to authorize the discharge of land use contract number 2373 from the property located at 20093 44th Avenue. I now invite Mr. Johansson, our Director of Development Services, to present the proposed bylaw.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. The purpose of this bylaw is, as you mentioned earlier, is to discharge a historical land use contract from the title of this property, which is zoned RS1 single family residential. Once discharged, this will allow a secondary suite on this property, although it's important to note that the city's zoning bylaw already permits secondary suites on properties zoned for single family homes, and this has been in place since 2006. It's also important to note that all land use contracts in the city are to be discharged with the adoption of the city's new zoning bylaw, which is currently under development and is anticipated to be in effect in early 2021. All land use contracts in BC are to be removed by July 1st, 2024. This proposed early discharge of this contract will enable the owner to move forward with a secondary suite on their property. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Mr. Johansson. Ms. Cusack, can you please advise if there is anyone in attendance at this meeting who wishes to speak to bylaw 3131, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We currently have one attendee, yet they are not indicating they would like to speak at this time.
Okay. So there's no one else who wishes to speak to this bylaw 3131.
Still no indications,
So for a third and final time, is for anyone who wishes to speak to bylaw 3131.
Negative.
Thank you. So seeing no more speakers, do any members of council have any questions in regard to this? Councillor Storteboom and then Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Mr. Johansson, for your presentation. I'd just like to have it confirmed that the applicant is aware of the restrictions that are still in place with regard to installing a secondary suite with on-site parking and the like.
Yes, through the mayor to Councillor Storteboom. Once the land use, if council decides to adopt the bylaw, then the property owner will have to conform to the zoning bylaw provisions, including parking, which is 3 spaces for a house with a suite.
Thank you very much, Mr. Johansson.
Councillor Martin?
Yes, thank you very much. I just want to clarify, currently there is a secondary suite in the residence now, according to our report. And I read the letter that we got in regards to this. It sounds to me like they think that we're going to rezone this property when we're really not rezoning it. And it also sounds like there's several suites in that whole area. Do we know if they're legal or illegal?
Yes, through the mayor to Councillor Martin. In terms of the number of suites, I don't have that information offhand, but what I can say is in that block that's bounded by 44 Avenue and I believe 44A, it's about half the properties have land use contracts on them, which prohibit suites, and half of them do not. So by virtue, half the properties in that block, I believe there's 14 properties or so, they would be allowed to have suites right now. So, and in terms of the what was mentioned in the explanatory memo, the notation about an existing suite was a typo. That's a mistake on my part. I apologize for that.
Okay.
The basis of the bylaw is regarding the land use contract, which currently prohibits a suite. So if there's a suite, it would not be legal at this point, but I can confirm there's no suite on the property right now.
Okay, thank you very much. I guess the other thing is I don't know how the person that wrote the letter, they do think that we're going to rezone this property when in fact we're not. We're just discharging the land use contract. So whether we let them know that or not, I don't know. Because I'm sure if half of them now have land use contracts, there's going to be a lot more in the next 3 years looking to just charge the land use.
Yes, through the mayor to Councillor Martin, I can reach out to the person and let them know. Again, the single family zoning RS1's been in effect since 2006, allowing suites on properties. And of course, we've had these historical land use contracts on some of properties that unless they're taken off, they can't have a suite. So
Right.
I'll work with that person and let them know.
Okay, thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Okay, so any more members of council? Does anybody else have any other questions?
Madam Mayor, the attendee has indicated that she would like to speak now. What's that? May I let her?
Okay. Yes.
Hi, my name is Michelle Stanworth, address 20093 44 Avenue. And I just wanted to clarify a couple of things is when we spoke about the zoning, that this has been in effect since 2006 and the land use contracts are going to be removed early 2021. Did we need to apply for this? Because the house hasn't started yet, so it won't be completed till early 2021.
I'll ask for some, Mr. Johansson, did you want to answer that, please?
Yes, through the mayor to Ms. Stanworth. What this enables you to do is if a council does adopt this bylaw, then you're free to proceed with, I believe you want to submit a building permit for a house with a new suite. So that will allow you to proceed unimpeded. So we anticipate that the new zoning bylaw will be in effect in early 2021, but through this approach, you're able to proceed before that. So it could be a number of months before we adopt the bylaw for the new zoning bylaw. So this enables you to proceed now.
Okay, thank you very much. I had one more thing, and that is I just want to confirm that there is no secondary suite on the property right now. It is a 1,200 square foot rancher that we lived in ourselves.
Great, thank you very much. Did you have any other questions or comments? Ms. Stanworth?
No, I'm good. Thank you very much for answering
great.
my question.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, any other attendees, Ms. Kuzak? And any other questions from council?
No other attendees, Madam Mayor.
Great, thank you. Okay, so we'll do a motion to close the public hearing. I need a mover and a seconder to close, please. Councillor Bahal, Councillor James. All those in favor? Any opposed? And we are closed with the public hearing. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming tonight.
Thank you.